And I've also learned that you've been very outspoken over the years in the sense that the business that you've invested in, you've been very upfront in saying that the ones that are women-owned have tended to perform better, that they're ones that they've just done better for you. I'm curious, why do you think that is?
It's really interesting that you asked that question because a few years ago, we started to notice the differentiation between our companies run by men and the ones run by women. And this is a period of over 7 years. And the outcomes were significantly better on the female operated companies in terms of outcomes. I mean, you can't deny cash. I mean, that's what matters when you're in a private company and you're dealing with entrepreneurs. It's not return on capital, it's return of capital that you care about. And over and over again, these women outperformed. So we started to go look at how they did it because we had all the data for all these years. This isn't some kind of academic study. We had real numbers. And so we went back and we started trying to figure out what are they doing that's so different. And here's what we discovered. In the companies that were run by men, in our case, they had very high growth targets. But they only hit their targets 65% of the time. And we were looking at that on a monthly basis. You tell me what you're going to do for this quarter. How are you doing during the quarter? And the men would hit their targets about 65% of the time. And they had average growth rates, targets of 30%. Then we looked at the same data for the women, and we discovered that they hit their targets 95% of the time, but they only assumed growth of 15%. Now, why would you care? Why would that make any kind of a difference? And so we dug down another level, and we found out that, let's use an analogy of football. Let's say you're playing for Tom Brady during the years he was at the Patriots. They kept winning over and over and over again. Nobody wants to be traded. The Gronk was there his entire career and even went with Brady to Tampa. So people like to be on winning teams. The same thing in business. When you hit your targets each quarter, your attrition of staff is practically zero. And that really matters in a private company. You lose the person running logistics or sales or compliance or accounting. It's very disruptive. But these women understood that and they said, okay, let's be pragmatic about our growth. Let's hit our targets all the time, keep the unit together. And so ultimately, their outcomes were significantly higher. In fact, last week, I don't know if you recall, maybe you haven't seen it. I wonder if I have it here with me. There was a, here it is. Here's a company called Base Paws, all right? This is cat DNA. You can't make this stuff up. I thought this company was a joke. I did it on Shark Tank. I thought it would be great TV, but what a stupid idea. You can buy a new cat for less than what the test costs, $29. Then the pandemic hits. This company just sold for $100 million cash last week. I mean, so that's going to pay for a lot of mistakes. That's run by a woman. And she was really adamant to me saying, you don't get it, Kevin. There's 110 million cats in America. And I think everybody wants a cat DNA test to find out how to feed their cat for longevity. I said, you're crazy, but I'll take a shot with you. But there you have it. So these women, you know that old adage, you want something done, give it to a busy mother. And that is basically what I think women are very good at. They mitigate risk, they manage, they can juggle a lot of things at once. So I'm very biased now. I do a lot of deals. I find a lot of women entrepreneurs because the outcomes are extraordinary.